Hello and welcome to CAN TV Conversations. I'm Casey Drotter. Today we're talking about Chicago's music scene. Local concert venues were some of the first businesses shut down in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. Many of them struggled to survive. But with restrictions loosening in the city, there's renewed hope for a return to normalcy. Joining me to discuss that is Tim Gurnig, a venue manager at the Empty Bottle in Chicago's Ukrainian Village neighborhood. Tim, thanks for being here.
Hi, Casey. Thanks for having me on this afternoon.
Of course. To start, would you mind telling us about your role with the venue?
Yeah, so I've been here since 2013. I started back then as an intern with the venue. And since then, I've kind of done every job here. I've been a bartender, door guy, I've done lights, manager on duty, production manager, and now the venue manager. So I've sort of done it all.
And what was the shutdown process like for you and the staff at the Empty Bottle?
Well, the thing about the shutdown was that was kind of very fast. We sort of, had to make decisions really quickly when that came about. And it was sort of like, all right, everybody go home, and we're shut down. One of the first things we did was try to set up a GoFundMe to try and get some money going for staff. That was definitely a first priority for us. But yeah, I mean, back March 17th last year, it was sort of like the governor came out, said shelter in place, and we were closed. So it was pretty simple.
And you mentioned some of the difficult decisions you had to make. Could you elaborate a little bit more on all the decisions you had to make to ensure the venue could stay afloat during all of this?
Yeah, I mean, those decisions sort of came from ownership, obviously, but they had to basically decide to furlough. Everyone was basically furloughed because we were closed, and that was sort of it.
And you did mention the GoFundMe fundraiser that you have on your site for both the staff and the venue's reopening fund. What kind of response have you seen with that from the local community?
The response has been really tremendous. We've gotten really a very warm response from people, especially right out the gate. People were extremely generous in supporting our staff, and we feel very blessed and lucky to have such a community behind us that is willing to just kind of open their pocketbooks and help us out. In addition to that, we sort of upped our merch output during this time and have been selling a lot more merch as well. And that's been another way for people to sort of support us while we've been closed.
Was there ever a point during all of this where it seemed like the Empty Bottle might not make it through the pandemic?
It's I don't know how close we ever were to that, but it's been a long year. And there's just been a lot of uncertainty at all times. Never really thought anything like this could happen. So it's just sort of raised so many questions throughout. You never really kind of prepare for something like this, so you never really know then like how it'll end, or if it'll end, or when it'll end, right?
For sure. And to shift to a more positive note, restrictions are loosening up here in Chicago. We're starting to talk about getting back to normal. What does that mean for you and your venue?
Sure. Yeah. So we're really excited. We're going to start having shows again in June. And we're starting out just kind of with some baby steps. We're going to have a very small capacity to start our first set of shows. We're going to be some local residencies. So that'll make things sort of easy on the production and sound staff, as well as the bar staff to start. And, we'll only have about 40 or 50 people for those first few shows in June. They'll be seated. So you don't have people kind of wandering around getting too close. It's a little easier to follow social distancing guidelines. And then as we get into July, we'll start to have some little bit bigger shows then. And then, in August, we're looking and hopefully being back to just full capacity by that point. If everything goes as planned, obviously, we'll be following all local and state and national guidelines.
You did mention the Empty Bottle does have artists booked, especially starting in mid-June. At what point did you feel comfortable securing acts again?
That's sort of just been an ongoing rolling thing. We have a lot of shows that were booked prior to the pandemic that we're still trying to reschedule with agents and management. and a lot of shows that kind of just never went away. And we just kept rolling them around the calendar of like, well, maybe we'll be able to do it at this point. Maybe we'll be able to do it at this point. And sort of just trying to keep the conversation lines open with the agents on those things.
From an artist's perspective, are you starting to see very eager and a lot of eagerness for the bands to get back on stage, or is there still a little hesitation?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think artists are really excited to get back on stage. Last year, towards the beginning of the pandemic, we were doing some live stream series from our roof, where we'd bring in one artist and record them doing a few songs up on the roof of the bottle. That way we could keep things distanced. It was outside, so it was just a little easier to do things that way. And you could tell even back then people couldn't wait. They were hungry to get back out there and play live music.
Certainly an innovative way to make sure you guys can continue to host live music, but with normalcy and patrons coming back, what are you most looking forward to?
For me, the music, like I just mentioned, we did those shows on the roof, and even then, after, it had only been a couple months off without seeing live music, it was kind of amazing how good it felt to just see a band and sort of remember, like, yep, this is why we do this. This is, what we love. And just, you really just feel it inside, and you're just like, yeah, live music, there's nothing like it. You can't replace it.
And if you wouldn't mind just letting our viewers know what bands you have booked starting in mid-June.
Sure. Our first artist back is an artist called Hell and Money, who's local. They do some really cool stuff with cello. And then our next artist after that is going to be a group with Brett Nauke, Whitney Johnson, and Natalie Chami. And they're all artists that have some great solo work as well as other collaborations, and they're kind of coming together to do some collaborative sets for 3 nights. So that'll be a really unique and interesting time.
So just overall, what can our viewers expect from the Empty Bottle now that the Chicago music scene is getting active again?
I think that people can expect the same great booking that they've always known from us, with intense focus on community and the local scene, while also curating the best national and international acts as well.
Sounds great. My thanks to Tim Gurnig for joining us today to have this important conversation. And thank you for watching CAN TV. I'm Casey Drotter. Have a good day.